Welcome back to the Awesome Agents podcast. Today we're talking about something I genuinely didn't think I'd be covering this year. The US government just shut down 2 AI models globally.
Yeah, not restricted access or required a license, actually shut them down on a Friday afternoon.
So give listeners the fast version. What happened?
U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick signed an export control directive on June 12th. Anthropic got the letter, read it, and disabled Claude Fable 5 and Claude Mythos 5 for every user, everywhere, within a few hours.
First time this has ever happened, right? Like the US has never done this to a commercial language model before.
Correct. Export controls have hit AI chips, hardware supply chains, that kind of thing. But a directive that says turn off your API is new territory completely.
And what was the reason why these 2 models?
The government cited a jailbreak. Specifically, the claim is that someone found a way to prompt Fable 5 to scan a code base and identify software vulnerabilities. A competitor apparently demonstrated this to the government.
Okay, so someone showed the government, look, I can make this model find security flaws. And the response was, disable it for the entire planet?
That is the sequence. And Anthropic's own review of the demonstration found it identified what they called a small number of previously known minor vulnerabilities. No CVE assigned, no public technical report.
That sounds like a pretty thin basis for a global shutdown.
That's exactly what Anthropic said. But there's a deeper problem, which is the nationality issue.
Right, walk me through that.
The directive said to cut off access for any foreign national. But Anthropic can't verify the nationality of every person calling their API in real time. So their options were verify the impossible or turn it off for everyone.
They chose the only option that was actually available to them.
Right, and Fable 5 had been live for exactly 72 hours at that point. It launched June 9th. It was their first public access version of Mythos, broadly available, the most capable model most people had ever touched.
That sounds like a pretty thin basis for a global shutdown.
That's exactly what Anthropic said. But there's a deeper problem, which is the nationality issue.
Right, walk me through that.
The directive said to cut off access for any foreign national, but Anthropic can't verify the nationality of every person calling their API in real time. So their options were verify the impossible or turn it off for everyone.
They chose the only option that was actually available to them.
Right. And Fable 5 had been live for exactly 72 hours at that point. It launched June 9th. It was their first public access version of Mythos, broadly available, the most capable model most people had ever touched.
That timing is brutal. 3 days.
3 days. And Mythos 5 itself was already in a controlled rollout called Project Glasswing, limited to roughly 50 organizations. Amazon, Apple, Google, Microsoft, CrowdStrike. That tight access didn't protect it.
Okay, so here's what I keep coming back to. The same vulnerability scanning capability. The government says it exists in GPT 5.5, which is still available.
Anthropic stated this directly. They said the jailbreak is widely available from other models, including OpenAI's GPT 5.5, and security coverage has documented GPT 5.5's code vulnerability scanning pretty clearly. It wasn't touched.
So the government drew a line at Fable 5 and Mythos 5, only those 2, while competitors doing comparable things keep running.
Yes. And Anthropic made the broader point that if this standard were applied consistently across the industry, it'd basically halt all new model deployments for every frontier provider.
There's an irony here that I can't get past. Anthropic has been the loudest voice about how dangerous these models are, and now that messaging might have made them the target.
That's a real tension. The company built years of public communication around Mythos being exceptionally capable and potentially dangerous. That drew attention. More quietly capable competitors may have avoided scrutiny precisely because they were quieter about it.
Their safety-first positioning became a liability.
In this case, possibly. Though Anthropic's defense-in-depth approach, relying on monitoring rather than making the model jailbreak resistant at the prompt level, is what left the narrow opening that was demonstrated.
What does this mean for people who had Fable 5 in production, like companies that built on top of it?
They got no warning, no wind down period, no SLA protection. Systems started failing at 5:21 p.m. on a Friday. And switching to Claude Opus 4.8 or a competitor isn't a clean swap. Fable 5 was trained differently, it behaves differently on edge cases, and you can get silent degradation in accuracy that doesn't surface until something breaks in production.
That's a new kind of operational risk that I don't think most companies had modeled.
Exactly. AI chip export controls disrupted hardware supply chains, but those played out over months with published lists in advance. A software directive that kills an API endpoint with 5 hours effective notice is a completely different category.
What happens next? Is Anthropic going to fight this?
They called it a misunderstanding and said they disagree with the conclusion. That language suggests a legal response is coming. But export control orders grounded in national security are very hard to overturn, and the process is slow. Access is not coming back quickly.
And there's the IPO question.
Big one. Anthropic's IPO was expected later this year. Having the government disable your two most powerful products with no confirmed restoration date is a material risk event. Underwriters are going to need clarity on the directive's legal status before anything moves.
Meanwhile, OpenAI keeps running, Google keeps running, just Anthropic sitting this one out.
Which is the competitive reality right now. Anthropic's strongest commercial product is offline, while its nearest competitors serve the same enterprise use cases without interruption. Whether that's coincidence or something more deliberate, the effect is the same.
This is one of those stories where I think the long-term implications are bigger than the immediate news. If the government can do this once, every company building on frontier APIs has to rethink their risk model.
That is the lasting consequence here, regardless of how the Anthropic situation resolves. The risk that your entire model tier vanishes overnight by government order is now real and demonstrated.
Thanks for breaking this down, Maya. We'll keep following it as the legal situation develops. Anthropic says it's working to restore access, but there's no timeline yet. Links to Anthropic's statement and our prior Fable 5 coverage are in the show notes.
Stay subscribed, there'll be more to cover on this one.